I'm sorry, who did I call?
This is Brian.
Okay. And may I have your position?
Yeah, who are you trying to call?
My phone said I was calling a law firm.
Yeah, this is Brian. This is the owner of the law firm. What's up?
Oh, cool. Do you like clients?
What?
Do you like clients?
Not really.
You don't like clients?
Hey, I'm just kidding. Hey, if you have a potential case that you're trying to get consultation on?
Yes. What kind of law do you handle?
Employment litigation and commercial litigation.
Oh, because it says that you were a civil rights attorney. I've experienced this years.
Oh.
Okay, well, can you give me information?
Yeah.
Yes, I've experienced this years. Do you have any information on discrimination when civil rights are violated?
Well, in the context of your employer or in the context of just overall civil rights?
Overall, let's say, for example, I have a wealthy abuser and he has locations deprive me of my rights, constitutional rights to services, even to the extreme of depriving me of my constitutional right to go to court. So if hotels, and I'm years of this, sir, you're an attorney, you own a law firm. What's the name of your law firm? What's the name of your law firm?
It's just a law group. Unfortunately, I only do discrimination in the context of employment law.
Okay, so with employment law, if a person was discriminated against, what is the repercussions for a person being discriminated against?
It just depends on the severity of the discrimination. It ranges anywhere from a fine to an EEOC investigation, which is the government agency that investigates discrimination.
Okay, and who investigates discrimination? What organization?
It's called EEOC.
And what does that stand for, if you don't mind me asking?
Equal Employment Opportunity Commission.
Okay, so you own a law firm, but you have no idea of what happens when it's discrimination in other avenues. Because my phone said you're a civil rights attorney, but I've experienced this years. Because my phone sabotages, the police won't investigate it. People are committing crimes and play games and deprive me of services. So I call for years trying to get legal representation, but I can never get it because I'm calling scammers. And then they lie and then deprive me of any education year after year with no consequences. So I spent countless hours trying to seek information on what's going on with my daughter, trying to get protection orders, and everywhere I call is covering for all the crimes and sabotaging information in the process.
Well, lawyers don't specialize in everything, and civil rights is a pretty niche area. And there's firms that specialize just in civil rights.
My phone stated that you were one, but my phone's been playing games years. And how do you spell your name? Your law firm's name?
It's WCISLO.
Yes, it says your civil rights litigation. But I've had to go through this years. So I make countless calls and they all are scheming to get setting up catch-22 so I don't get services, then lie and don't even want me to have information. Years.
Well, if you go to my website, it doesn't say anything about civil rights.
Okay, well, let me go on to the next call and see what they have in store. I can't combat it because the corruption is too extreme. But okay, sir, let me try the next one.
So what I would do is I would Google civil rights attorneys Dallas, and there's literally
you're on that. I've already did that search. I'll do it again. Okay. I've already did that. That's how you came up. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry I couldn't help you.
This is what I Google. Civil rights attorneys. Let me try it again. Civil rights attorneys. Get out. And then all this. And then look who comes up right there. I think I've already contacted Kilgore and they play games. But years, none of them help. And they won't up any information, period. Okay, this one says police misconduct. Misconduct, police, misconduct. Attorney. It hung up. Let me try to call again. They're out of control as they have been for years. I mean, it's sick. That's the number. This is a crime. This is criminal. You repetitively keep witnessing crimes with no consequences. Call. Yes. What do you specialize in?
Criminal defense.
Criminal defense? I looked up on my channel, on my phone, and it stated that you help with police misconduct.
No, just criminal defense. If you're being charged of a crime by the court, we can help you out with that.
Okay. So, let's see. What's the name of your law firm?
Alexander Casares.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I've experienced this years. Apparently no one helps with family violence, police misconduct, protection orders. No one does. I've tried for years, believe me. It can't be done. I've even called the Bar Association, the state bar, and no one on this planet assists with that. And if someone is controlling my experience and preventing me from getting any legal representation, that has to be a crime to fight their abuse and corruption. I don't know why my phone would refer me to all these people that can't assist, sir, for years. I'll keep trying. Thank you.
No problem.
Bye.
Robbins Kaplan Law Firm, please hold.
Okay. Yes. What kind of legal representation do you provide?
Well, why don't you let me know what you need? That might be easier because we have quite a bit.
Okay. Well, I prefer, since I call around for years and the customer service is quite poor. So I would like to know get the question answered. What's your name?
This is Sue. I'm the receptionist here.
Okay. And you don't want me to provide me with the kind of legal representation you provide, even though I asked that question?
Oh, no, I can tell you, but we have quite a bit of an area, so if you would like...
I didn't want that, because I have my life in normal, ma'am. I would like to get the question answered, if that's okay.
Okay, let me look till I make sure I get all of them for you, okay?
Okay. I
know we do, the business litigation, and then we do IP&T, medical malpractice, civil rights.
Okay. So for the civil rights, do you do discrimination and deprivation of services and civil rights violations?
Correct.
Okay. So can you give me information on the procedure when someone violates civil rights, maybe for profit? Is that criminal?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm the receptionist.
I've experienced this years, ma'am. The attorneys don't call me back. They never have the knowledge. So are you a paralegal?
I am a receptionist. I'm so sorry.
But typically, it happened years, ma'am. So typically, what law firms do, they enlist a paralegal to do the reception or to assist, so they would have knowledge to assist with their law firm.
I would get you to the right. If you want the civil rights department, I sure will get you to that department.
Okay, good, because it's been deprived of me years, ma'am. You got to see it to believe it. But yes, I'd like to get some information if possible, because I've been deprived of it years. Okay, thank you.
Okay, one moment, please.
Okay, thank you.
The triage line of Robin.
They don't call back.
Please leave your name, phone number,
for years,
and a brief message regarding your potential claim. Thank you.
Okay, this is what they say that they handle with this law firm. And this is the law firm. You can't see it, but it's Johnson, Zegan, Scott, and Williams.
Office?
Are you a paralegal?
Yes, I am.
Okay. For the what is the procedure when a police wrongly arrests someone? That's obviously criminal.
Yes.
Okay. So, how exactly do you assist? Do you sue for financial damage?
We are no longer taking those cases, but we actually handled if there's an injury in the case.
Okay. So this happened with another law firm. In fact, almost all of the law firms have catch-22s for years. So you have advertisements. May I have your name?
Nicole.
Okay. So you're a paralegal. So what are the avenues that I can take to protect myself regarding false arrest? Who do I report that to? A multitude of them, like in the teens.
You can call the Texas State Bar, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction.
You're an attorney, and you handle those cases, and you don't know who to report police misconduct? And
I'm not an attorney. I didn't
well, a
say
paralegal.
I'm
I'm sorry.
I'm a paralegal.
You did state that. I do apologize. But that's who you report the crime to? Is the State Bar Association?
If you're looking for an attorney, then you can call the Texas State Bar.
You stated that you were one on your channel, and I've experienced this years, and I'm trying to get down to the bottom of why so many people lie. She hung up. Years. It's not isolated. I have a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, but they are controlling my phone and depriving me of legal representation in a multitude of avenues, which is highly sadistic and criminal. You cannot do all the chaos that they repetitively keep getting away with. I know people didn't believe me when I said that the government deprived me of legal representation. They absolutely do, in person and over the phone. They're monitoring everything that goes on, everyone I come in contact with, just like at the Duncanville City Hall. You witnessed them bully that man. He has not returned my call or ever set another appointment. They do this with friendships and churches. They have been out of control for a very long time. So every avenue I take, even going in person, they lie, cover for the crimes like Metro PCS, every single avenue. I'm not sure if I was being heard. So they have conned me hours and hours, depriving me of any information to enforce the government's crimes, and that they continue to get away with this excessive amount of criminal activity with no consequences. So let me keep trying again. The years of this. It's not just isolated and today. I'm doing this for evidence so people can see what I have been through. See where it says police brutality, police misconduct. I've already called Untitled, and police brutality. So they'll lie and say they don't do that. They've actually been caught in a lie. Don Tittle just kept hanging up. It wouldn't let me place the call. Are you a paralegal?
I'm a legal assistant.
Okay. Do you have information on the civil rights? What all do you do law representation for?
So as far as our civil rights cases, we handle cases where an individual has been physically injured through either jail neglect or police brutality, and we also represent the families of people who have died while incarcerated.
Okay, so you exclude people that have had multiple false arrests and things of that sort, harassment by police. You exclude people in that situation. You only assist those that have been assaulted. Well, I do have an assault, a couple assaults.
Okay, yes, we are a personal injury firm, so if there is a physical injury, then yes, we can help you.
Okay, well, I did have assaults. So you exclude all other parties. So how exactly, how do you assist with that? What's the process?
So first I would take down some contact information.
No, that's not what I'm asking about. I'm asking about the legal process of if a police were violating one person and maybe perhaps targeting them. What is the process? Not just like taking down information, but do you go after charges for the person? Seek a financial remedy, or litigation for the damages? I mean, what exactly is the process?
Let me see if I can put you on hold real quick.
You don't know that?
For you.
Okay. Answer machine.
No, ma'am, I'm not an attorney.
Okay, sure. Voicemail. I'm sorry, yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right. So since I'm not an attorney, I don't know the legal process, and so I can't answer that question. The most I can do is I can take down the information of what took place, and then I can forward that to the attorney for their review.
For their review?
Yes, ma'am.
So is there anyone I can talk to get information? Because here's the thing. If you don't have information, I'm not sure you'd be a good fit, as a multitude of other parties for years. So I'm trying to make sure I'm hiring you for legal representation. And if you don't have answers, then why would I hire you? As well as no other party that I've contacted. So I would like to speak with someone, as I've tried years, to make sure that they have the proper education and capability to handle my case. So is there anyone that I can talk to that can give me an idea of the knowledge that your law firm has and that you provide me adequate legal representation? Is there anyone that I can readily talk to right now at this particular moment that does have the knowledge?
No, like I said, the way that our process works
it's the way everyone works for years. That's why I'm trying to help people get their charges. But I will leave my information. 95% of my calls aren't returned. The only calls that are returned is someone trying to set me up for mental illness. But I'll go ahead and leave my number like all the other parties I've left my number with that never call me back. Okay, here's the number, ma'am. So not only am I targeted by multiple different agencies, they deprive me of legal representation, and I wanted to know my rights when they're so corrupt that they sabotage all assistance to be able to escape their abuse, to the degree of denying me my right to go to court and even trying to hire someone to represent me legally. They interrupt that. And it has to be highly criminal, right? Or are you not aware if that's a crime to abuse your power to prevent someone from getting legal representation to escape your abuse? Are you aware if that's criminal? At calling this law firm?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. You're not sure calling the law firm. You're not sure. They haven't been sure for years, ma'am. Okay, let's see if they call me back, because no one else has for years. Countless hours, ma'am. Calls aren't getting returned, and it's like they're covering for the crimes all over the United States. You'd have to see it to believe it. It's like a Twilight Zone. But let me keep going on my journey. It's turned into hours to weeks to months, and then months to years, man. You'd have to see it to believe it. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
You too. This is a number that it wouldn't let me place. My phone won't let me place the call.
Hi, this is Don.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'd like information. I'm sorry?
How can I help you?
Yes, would you assist with police misconduct?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Police misconduct?
Yeah, I do certain kinds of police misconduct cases. Yes.
Okay, how do you assist? What's the procedure if police, there's misconduct? Do you try to get criminal charges against the perpetrators, and then legal remedy for the consequences of the behavior of the police, law enforcement?
Well, I generally, it just depends on, I do not, I can't file criminal charges, so there's nothing I can do on that regard. If someone's been falsely arrested, or if there's a use of too much force, someone's been shot unjustifiably, then, I can pursue a civil case in certain scenarios.
Okay, well, what is the result of the civil case? Because if someone was murdered, you don't want to have a criminal charge placed against them as an attorney. What is the consequence that you seek as a law firm if these officers commit crimes? So you don't assist with criminal charges. So how do you assist?
If there's a case, I file a civil lawsuit.
Okay, what's the consequences of the civil lawsuit that you file?
They're for money.
Okay, so they get away with the crime, but you do
Listen, hang on a second. I don't know what you said to get away from the crime. I have nothing to do with it. In our criminal system, the state of Texas files criminal charges. A private lawyer can't do anything.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. I just get mistreated so often.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to find out, if you're an attorney and then someone hires you and there's police misconduct, I just don't understand why you would not.
Whatsoever.
I'm sorry?
I have nothing to do with the criminal case whatsoever.
Okay, so are there attorneys that help assist with getting the perpetrator the sentence?
Yeah, I think there are.
But you're just not one. You're just not one.
Huh?
You're just not one,
Yeah,
though. Okay.
I'm just not one.
Okay, so I just make sure I understand. So you do try to get a legal remedy for the police officers and their criminal activity?
Not for the police officers, against the police officers. But anyway, you're going to
I just, before I do all of that, I just wanted to make sure that, we're a right fit. So if it's okay, I'd like to get information that I hit the jackpot and I'm speaking with you. So,
It may not be the right fit.
They haven't been the right fit for years. It's the strangest thing, but I'm not quite sure why you don't want me to have information on the process of, so you file a civil suit for monetary damages. Is that what you do?
What information would you like? I mean, just ask me the question. I'll give it to you. I'm happy to give you some information. I also have deadlines that I'm working on for other people who've been.
Yeah, people have been really weird, rude years. I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar lawsuit because I'm targeted by a multitude of departments. And they deprived me of my right to legal representation to the extreme of even depriving me of my right to purchase food and water. So this is a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. I'm sorry?
Were you falsely arrested?
Yeah, in the teens. I'm targeted by the government for a multitude of police departments, not just one. So this is a multi-million-dollar lawsuit to the extreme that they have sabotaged, violated my rights at hotel stays, even to purchase food and water, legal representation, hacking my phone, cyber crimes, stealing paid child support payments, embezzlement of Social Security payments, depriving me of stimulus checks, my ability to get stimulus. So it's a bit extreme. You're talking about a multi-million-dollar lawsuit on your hands that a multitude of law firms have mistreated me and violated me trying to get representation.
You said law firms?
Law firms, yes. For some reason, I've been bullied by a multitude of law firms trying to get legal representation, and we're talking about a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Police enlisting motels and hotels to conspire with their crimes, shelters, and you help enlist them to detain me or arrest me on false charges. So that's pretty.
What information were you looking for before? I mean, I'm happy to take a look at it if you fill out the contact. If you fill out the form on my website and provide the particulars, the specifics of which departments are involved and all that, I'm happy to look at it. But is there any other information you need before you do that?
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to get down to the bottom of why, people are bullying me over trying to get legal representation for this multi-million-dollar lawsuit. I'm not quite sure if the government's behind it. And if they are, is that criminal? If they are sabotaging my ability to get legal representation to protect myself against their abuse?
Yes.
Okay, it is. So what kind of charge would that be?
I don't know.
You don't know as an attorney owning a law firm with your own law firm? Okay, sir, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
And Corbett, how can we help improve your life?
Hello, can I know what kind of legal representation you provide?
Yes. What type of legal knowledge do you have?
So you don't want, may I have your name?
Oh, no. I mean, if we provide criminal defense and personal injury, family law, and some kinds of civil rights.
Oh, cool. That's nice. Okay, so I have a multitude of matters. Are you a paralegal?
No, I'm not one of the attorneys.
Okay, do you?
I do take the preliminary information.
I don't get a call back, ma'am, for years. I just want to speak. You're being rude, like a multitude of other parties. My calls aren't returned for years, ma'am. So, is there a ability for me to speak with someone that does have legal knowledge? Because I haven't been able to for years, ma'am.
You have what? But I'm the one who was screened.
Okay, but ma'am, since my abuser got involved in every experience, they screen and deprive me of any. If someone's going to hire you, they want to make sure that you're a good fit. And if all the law firms I call don't want to give me legal knowledge and play games, that has to be against my constitutional rights. So what I'm requesting is calling you for a potential client is to speak with someone. That's what I'm requesting. That does have the answers.
And let me just say, we have our policies here.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand that you are not willing to up anyone. I have to give you my personal information before you have someone call me back. You are not willing to put anyone on the phone, period, even though I'm requesting it.
I don't even know what your matter is about, ma'am. No, I'm not going to transfer you to someone if you're not.
Because they're not going to call me back. So I would like to speak with someone that has knowledge, so I can get down to the origin and get evidence of the crimes that.
Another law firm.
Yes, all of them do it, ma'am. That's why I'm trying to get people their charges.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Knox, how may I help you?
Yes. Can you give me the kind of legal representation that you provide?
I'm sorry?
Can you give me the kind of legal representation you provide?
Well, this is a criminal attorney.
Okay. Only criminal?
Unfortunately, I'm not provided with any other else information, ma'am. I just know it's a criminal attorney.
Okay, so let me make sure I called a law firm and you don't know how you represent people and you're answering the phone?
Ma'am, listen to me. I'm the one that takes the messages for them. I do not work with them.
Okay. So the way that your law firm works, you take the messages down and you can't give anyone any information on the services you provide or the representation, period. So I have to give you my personal information. I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is one on years and I don't get my calls returned. So I try to get things resolved over the phone and every scammer I call interrupts it, which is highly criminal. But no one seems to be racking up these felonies that they've gotten away with years. So I called you and you do not want me to know the kind of legal representation that you provide. What law office did I call?
This is the law office of Christopher Knox.
Can I speak with your supervisor? Because I want to escalate above you because before I give my personal information, I want to make sure that this law office is a good fit. And if you don't have any knowledge of the kind of representation you give, I'm not quite sure that this law office will be a good fit. So I'd like to escalate to your supervisor.
Like I said, ma'am, I'm with you.
Are you depriving me of the right to speak with a supervisor and someone above you? Like they've done years?
I'm letting you know. Listen to me, ma'am. I'm just letting you know of my position with this.
I've heard it years. That's why I want to escalate to someone above you. Because I don't think that I should call on my phone years and for con artists to deprive me of legal representation and knowledge for years and get away with it. So I'd like to escalate to your supervisor.
Ma'am. Look,
are you depriving me of the right to speak with anyone above you? There's no paralegal or anyone above you. I've already requested that.
Ma'am, if I transfer you to my supervisor, you'll probably just get the answering service supervisor. You
said you were the answering service. The receptionist.
Yes, you're gonna get my supervisor for the answering service. Not for the law office. Okay? I'm just letting you know.
So you don't want clients, you don't want any new clients. How do I get the legal representation? What do I do to get it?
If you would like, you can go ahead and call the main line number, ma'am.
The main line? I just did.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know if they're busy. They cannot take the calls. I do not know. I'm just the one that takes the messages, ma'am.
Okay, so I've called a law firm and you don't know how I can get a hold of the attorneys.
Like I said, ma'am, I'm with the answering service. They do not provide me with much information.
So if you're the answering service, isn't it your responsibility to leave a message for them to call me back? I think that let me go ahead and speak with your supervisor because it seems like you're committing crimes and you're sabotaging my ability for legal representation. If you're the answering service, you're supposed to take my name and number and have them call me back, but you blatantly are lying. So let me speak with your supervisor. Let me speak with your supervisor. I don't want to talk to you any further. Let me speak with your supervisor.
If you wanted me to take your information,
I know. I want to escalate to your supervisor. Are you depriving me of that right to speak with your supervisor? You just got caught in a lie trying to sabotage my ability to speak with this attorney by depriving me of the right to leave my name and number and saying that you don't know. So I'd like to escalate to your supervisor because I want you guys to get the consequences for getting away with this for years. I would like to escalate to your supervisor.
I just said that I did not know.
I don't want to talk to you. Are you depriving me of the right to speak with your supervisor as you guys have terrorized me and mistreated me years? I want to speak with your supervisor, not you.
All right.
You hear that?
Oh.
In the background? I'm talking to someone else. I don't know what that is. Noise pollution. It stopped, whatever it was. So here's the thing. They're sadistic. So these experiences are supposed to be traumatic. They deliberately try to make it emotionally draining. They play games. They can't hear you. They're out for years. They don't return the calls. Hello. That employee was trying to sabotage my ability to speak with the law firm. And I'm trying to get down to the bottom of why I've experienced this repetitive behavior for years. He told me he had no idea how I can get a hold of the law firm, calling the law firm number that was in my phone. Can you pull the call?
Okay, I do apologize. You've reached the answering service for Mr. Knott, so we would have to leave a message for him to return your call.
Right, but I want to get down to the bottom of why he said he didn't know how I'd be able to get a hold of him. If he's the answering service, then he leaves a message for the attorney to call me back. But he pretended like there was no capability for me to get a hold of the attorney. And it's a repetitive pattern. So can you pull the call and figure out why he was trying to sabotage my ability to speak with this attorney? Because it's happened with a multitude of law firms, and I'm trying to get down to the bottom of it. So can you pull the call?
Okay, I can. What's your name, ma'am?
It's Kiana Clark.
Okay, did you want me to leave a message for the attorney, Ms.
Yes, they don't call back for years, ma'am, but I can leave a message. But I want to get down to the bottom of why he tried to sabotage my ability to speak with the attorney. I don't think the attorney would be pleased if someone trying to sabotage the con. I'm not being heard, ma'am. That's why I told you to pull the call. Why would you cover for him, ma'am? Your supervisor? Pull the call. It's happened years. Okay, well, pull the call, ma'am. He told me, ma'am, why would you argue with me like everyone else, ma'am? This is draining. It would be psychologically abusive if this is on purpose. All you have to do is just pull the call and see why this man blatantly lied and tried to sabotage this man getting new clients for a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. I'm sure this attorney would not be pleased.
I would definitely do that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
If I may have your phone number, I'll relay your message to Mr.
They don't call back for years, ma'am. The phone number? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, are you going to call me back after you pull the call to see why he did it? She hung up. So I tried to get telephone books. So at my sister's house, when I stayed with her briefly, I got a telephone book. She took it. She went through my things and took the telephone book. Then I bought some mace because I get terrorized. She took that. My own sister. But this is the one that was having meltdowns and crying. She would not give me my mail. So completely out of her behavior, she would not purchase food. Period. That is very uncommon for my sister. She ate over my house a multitude of times. I took her out and I paid, picked up the tab a multitude of times. So there's no way on this planet would my sister behave like this if someone didn't put her up to it. So she would buy food, barely enough for them to eat. No crumbs, no nothing. Sit there, eat it in front of me. And knowing that I was in this domestic violence crisis, did not have food, and she did that every single day. She'd go buy chicken, eat it in front of me, and then when I mentioned something about it, and then she got a little bit better. But when we go out to eat, when she foot the bill, she go buy me like one taco. So this is the things that my abuser liked to do. So one time when I lived in the tent, I was completely desperate for companionship because they isolated me in the community and they bullied me, a great deal of people in the whole community. They blocked my path, cursed me out, degraded me, a lot of people. He wanted me emotionally tortured and got away with it. So when my sister got into the picture, she was also abusive as well as her kids, which is completely out of she had really good kids. So for their behavior was really odd. So some kind of way I was at the bus stop and consequently she was at the bus stop, the same interaction. She said she was doing Uber Eats. So time I got to the bus stop, she pops up and lets me in the car. So I get in the car and she's doing Uber Eats for a while, which I love, traveling and getting out and doing things like that. So anyway, so we go and she does a couple Uber Eats things and then she invites me over for her dinner, which happens to be tacos. And I love tacos. So that happened at about 2 or 3 and it may have been like 11 or 12. I could be mistaken. So we got to her place at about 2 or 3. All the gang stalkers, all the same chaos. And she's driving, pretending like she does not see all the chaos that we're experiencing while she's driving. She's covering for it. I see all of it. And then I know I'm witnessing her pretend like we're not getting terrorized on the route. So I just disregard it. So then we go into the apartment complex. There's police there. In front of the police, there's cars terrorizing us. The same chaos I experienced, backing out. Wait for her to come in and then back out. This is my sister. She's pretending like she don't see all of this. So I start recording it and she starts getting on to me. You're not recording this. crimes are actively being committed while we're driving. You don't see all this, but they do this. Everyone I ride with. So she's pretending like she don't see it, and then I started to record it, and then she got upset, so I stopped recording it. So we go into her place at 2-something. So she plays games with cooking, and it's only tacos. It's not that hard. So she also prepares this dish, some kind of dish with cinnamon rolls. And it's like, it looks really good from the description that she gave me. It's cinnamon rolls and peaches, some kind of peach cinnamon roll dish. So the dinner would sound amazing. So I was anxious. I was forced into a tent, very grungy food, and if I could even get the food. So then we wait. And then, mind you, that I'm being bullied in this experience that ways that you won't believe. My niece blocks my path. She throws her leg up when I'm trying to walk down the hall. She's like maybe 10 or 11. So she throws her legs up, completely out of character for these people. So I'm walking down the hall, and like a bully, she throws her legs up, preventing me from walking. My sister does nothing about it. My niece also says, Jason wasn't doing anything to you. You're a liar. Sits right next to me. Furious. This is my own family. So she says, Jason wasn't bothering you. You made that up. We called him. This is what my niece said. 10 or 11 violating me. So I tell my sister about it, and she ignores it. So about 8 or 9 after, it's tacos. So she's taunting me with the food, and then a lot of other weird things. Like when I came in the kitchen, when I walked in the kitchen, she opened the cabinet. So it startled me because I came in the kitchen to try to talk to them, and she opened the cabinet. Like she was going to hit me with it. Then my niece put her foot out, like seconds later, like she was trying to trip me. So this is family members. So I went to try to escape and get love with my family members, and I'm being terrorized by family members. But this is the same one that was having the meltdown. So then she goes with another cousin. So I'm so desperate to get out and have, family experiences. And they were isolating me. They allowed me to stay there, but they weren't talking to me. They came in and bullied a little bit. They were in different rooms. So then she left and went to go be with another family member. I begged her to let me go. She would not. So she left me there with the kids and was playing games. She did it multitude of times. When I saw her, she would not let me. She treated me like a child, like a jealous person was controlling her. So when she went out on these events, she would not let me attend. Okay. So I disregarded that, at least, even though they weren't around me and they were bullying me and isolating me, even at their house, knowing that I was fighting for my life, hid mail, phone books, and all this other, and mace. My own family members ate food in front of me. So, okay, it was better than being in the tent alone, getting terrorized in the community. So I stayed there and was violated by my own family members. So then about 9-something, the meal is finally cooked. So they have concocted that my niece ate the whole thing of icing that no one cared about. So the cinnamon roll dish was messed up. In addition to the cinnamon roll dish, the niece ate all the icing, and she ruined the dish. It was like it was on purpose. The cinnamon rolls were raw. I wouldn't eat it. But this is a pattern. That one of the things I couldn't talk about. So, okay. So she forces me to give me one soft taco. She did not allow me to eat with the whole family. She forces one taco on me and forced me to eat that on the go, and then took me home. So a large majority of what we did as a family is we ate together and different things. So someone knew that they had sentimental value for family members to sit and eat together, and interrupted it. So everyone was there eating. She fixed mine to go and said, okay, I'm taking you home now. So I wasn't allowed. They wanted to control my food, make sure I didn't get seconds, and only one soft taco. Living in a tent, only one permitted, and to make sure I didn't get seconds, I was taken home while everyone else was eating. Okay, so in the tent area, a similar incident. So I had food, so I made a meal. And then this weird party that, I had a friendship. There's also friendships with gang stalkers that cover for all the chaos that you experience and also contribute to the abuse. So I had this weird friendship that they deprived me of food at Subway. And I told him they schemed so I couldn't purchase food. And I asked this individual to go to the Subway and get food. Police interrupted it. Security. interrupted my personal conversation with telling this individual to go in Subway because they deprived me of food purchase. So I asked these people, are you on drugs? How dare you come interrupt a private conversation for me asking someone to get me the food that you deprived me of purchase for? Are you insane? So he bullied and hassled us for a while. This was in Fort Worth, the Subway at the station. I can't think of the station, but it's a station in Fort Worth, the bus train station. So then after that, he realized after he hassled me for a little bit, it is, probably a crime to interrupt someone's conversation, and you can't deprive someone of food, even though they got away with it for a long time. So this person went in there to get the food. I said, can you please get a lot of ice because I'm hot? And then, I gave him a 20. I think it was a 20, a 10 or a 20. And he went to get the food. There was hardly no ice in it. Then he said, I'm sorry, I don't have your change. Okay, fast forward. So then we went to a racetrack with this person. They deprived me of food purchase there. So here's the thing. I'm set up with these relationships with gang stalkers. So then when I make the purchases, they set up harassment and abuse. So we commuted all the way in the heat to racetrack, and they schemed to deprive me of a ability to purchase a drink. So they had all these different kind of drinks. Since they wanted to create conflict, they forced me to tell them up front the drink size. They hid the cups. Okay. Everyone else had opportunity for cups. No, that's not how it went. Something happened with the cups, and they tried to force me to pick the cups, tell them the cup that I wanted up front. I said, I'd like to be like everyone else and have the ability to get my own cup. They would not let me do it. She needed to know the cup I wanted up front. So when I had to tell her up front and not have rights like anybody else the cup size I wanted, she deliberately gave me another cup size. All of them were the same price. They had a special. So it was deliberate conflict created. So obviously, if I caught the bus to get a beverage to drink entrapped in the tent, I want the biggest size. So each size I told her she was out. So anyway, to make a long story short, we finally got a size that, for her comfort level. Then she created a scheme to where I was creating conflict, but she was creating the conflict and then denied me of services. After that chaos, because I'm in a tent, I needed some water, something to drink. Commuting on the bus, desperate, trying to get a drink, terrified for my life, forced into a tent on the streets. So then after that chaos, and it wasn't a joke to me. I think I have it recorded. They all laughed and taunted me, including the party that I was with. It may not seem, but this is terrifying. I'm fighting for my life on the bus, and they are depriving me of purchase of food and water and beverages and getting away with it for years. So then fast forward, so I cooked this meal with the same party, and it was still a little better when I had, escorts and people around me, even though they were gang stalkers, because they couldn't rush me and block my path as easy when there was someone else with me. I would deliberately hide for protection behind these people. And since they were prearranged gang stalkers, they covered for all the criminal activity. They were like conspirators in it. So, but at least I got relief because I hid behind them when we go places, and I have the same experience over and over again with people blocking my path and coming out at me. So I did appreciate the companionship. I was at a loss for words. I did appreciate the companionship because it did provide a sense of relief. So in the tent area that this person lived in, we made a meal. So as soon as I finished the meal and was about to fix the plate, since it had become a pattern, I knew that people were trying to interrupt the intimacy, I guess you can say that, of sitting down, having a meal together and enjoying a good cooked meal. So immediately after I cooked it, I have to go. Just like my sister, it was interrupted. But this was a pattern. So immediately he said that he had to go, which was odd because we just prepared this meal, this hearty meal in a tent area. It was some kind of noodle dish with, it was like some kind of seasoning, like a curry dish, like some kind of noodle dish with seasoning. And then we had meat, and I made the dish, and he immediately left. So when he left, I, boxed up the food and put it up. So then after, I eat my meal and the meal was interrupted, he came back And he said that he was leaving to catch the bus. It was odd. So he said he was leaving to catch the bus. And then after I set up all the food and put it up, then he states, what happened to the food? I said, you just told me you were leaving for the day and you got on the bus. Said you were getting on the bus. So he wanted me to not eat with him. He wanted to interrupt that and for me to eat my food and for him to come back. After my food, I ate my food. So this is the petty things that the abuser has power to abuse and control, petty things like that. And then I want to show you something else. Maintenance hasn't been here. It stopped. How? But I have experienced this Twilight Zone for a long time. It ran all night. It was running when I came back from shopping. Now that I uploaded the video, it stopped. I just know. So in a lot of different movies with conspiracy theories and a lot of multitude of, experiences, people report abusers and how they want to gaslight and do different things. But it is really, really unusual when you can entice the government, businesses, family members, attorneys, apartment complex staff, to everywhere, even personal relationships, to start conspiring and be a part of abuse. Like I stated the other day, if I did have value, I would just like to have value enough to not have to be terrorized in every environment that I'm in, including with family members. I would like to feel safe if I had enough value. I would like to have the ability to get legal representation. I'd like to have the ability to see my children, to be able to go out. I wish I could freely go out to the lake right now. I can't. I get terrorized. I wish that I can just go to the mall, even though I don't have the funds, and walk around and witness other people that have lives that I'm not allowed to have. But I'm terrorized doing that. I wish that I can go ride a boat without them setting up a whole brand new boat with couples to let me know that I'm single and excluded, and then witness another boat on the other side with people that a lot of singles. It was the oddest. That boat was packed. So when I asked him why I wish that I could just go randomly to a hotel and get on the rooftop without people setting up catch-22s to violate me, demanding to take my purse to search it for food. Violated me at a multitude of locations. I wish I had that right. So the bully wants to emphasize my past and a lot of things that he set up. Even if I did everything that he has set up, even if I am guilty of all of that, does anyone still have a right to terrorize me and violate me to the extreme that I'm getting violated with no consequences year after year? Even if the smear campaign is emphasized, do they have that right? So anyway, this is a video diary. I'm trying to put the pieces together and do this on my own. This is traumatic. I absolutely believe that I could use therapy. Absolutely. This is very traumatic. It may not look like it, but I'm deprived of it. It's not the easiest thing venting on YouTube and not able to go to churches and be in support groups and excluded everywhere you go. Isolated. Even with friendships I build on my phone, they get weird. It was an older lady that I talked to. She was nice. We went out to eat. And then the same pattern, we were at church. Someone interrupted our conversation. She had a conversation and she was disregarding me. So I waited. And it was odd because she didn't acknowledge me. This is at church. OCBF. So the lady but these relationships are interrupted. Police guard these businesses or these churches. I see them. And then these relationships get odd. I'm not sure if I was being heard. So we went out to eat and the lady was very polite. She even gave me some motivational books and devotionals. So then it got weird. So she was having a conversation. Typically, she will find me or she'll acknowledge me. So this particular day I found her and she wouldn't let me sit next to her, which was odd. So I just disregarded it and I found another seat. No problem. Whatever's going on, which was out of the character that this person would normally have. So then after church, then I saw where she was sitting and then I went back to her to speak and someone interrupted. Okay. And then she had the conversation and disregarded me with this other person. I had to wait a while. She didn't acknowledge me, period. But I waited because we already went out to eat and she was really friendly. So then I started talking to her. And then the person interrupted again. So when she interrupted the lady, you know, I may have talked to her like 30 seconds. So then the person interrupted again that I didn't interrupt when she was speaking. So when she interrupted again, the lady started disregarding me again and ignored me. So when that happened again, I just walked off and I haven't talked to her since. But this is a pattern. That's why I'm speaking about it. So anyway, you know, I'm not going to continue to call the law firms. I've called years with the same pattern. They're not up in any information, these scammers. I just want you to know what I've experienced for years and why police guard my cell phone providers to the extreme that they do. That is criminal. But they do it because they're preventing me from any avenue to escape the crimes and abuse that they set up for profit.